Hello, my love bugs, my honey buddies, my boobalas. Mwah! Welcome to Love, Truth, and Beauty, episode 318. And in today's video, I'm continuing with populating my 58 or more video series playlist by reading aloud a translation that has gone from the Russian to Arabic to English of Hacking the Technogenic System by Vadim Zeland, who brought Transurfing to the universe. Now, we hope that Vadim translates his book to English very soon, but until he does that, we will talk about it in the English from other translations with the personal efforts from my friends Moheel, Jawad, and Teodora, Salvia, who took it upon themselves to take on the task of sharing its wealth of knowledge, particularly during this time of our human history. So I'm doing my part to share this invaluable information so that it can be integrated into knowledge and further integrated into wisdom. So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, all cozy, and allowed me to read aloud to you chapter 21 of Moheel and Teodora's translation of Hacking the Technogenic System. This chapter entitled Life is Not Chemistry in a Test Tube. Question: doctors say that we cannot dispense with dairy products because the teeth will be damaged and hair will fall out. So what is the condition of your teeth and hair? The old and popular presto is something that appears or happens so quickly or easily that it seems to be magic. About the source of calcium is that it comes from milk and its derivatives. It is not the farm owners and doctors who spread this rumor. They only acknowledged it, but the products and traders spread this rumor because they needed excuses to compel consumers to open their wallets to buy these materials without hesitation. Producers and merchants are mighty institutions capable of creating any legend, but if, for some reason, the production and trade of dairy products becomes a useless and unprofitable activity, in this case, be sure that they will play a new piece of music, and this new song must be very convincing and very rational and the ultimate in beauty in order to be accepted and trusted by all. They will not find any difficulty in finding someone to perform this song with high efficiency, starting with the stars of advertisements that shows and ending with teachers in universities and institutes. Consumers will listen and say how brilliant and clever this new presto, in quotes, is. Then they will take their wallets and go to the supermarket, and you must remember and never forget that all this will be organized with intelligence and comprehensiveness, and this is what is actually happening. Besides the play and songs, they too will make up horrific stories like, if you don't use our products, your hair will fall out and you will find yourself having to pull out your nails because they will sink into the flesh of your fingers. And if you don't consume much of our nourishing products, you will find yourself in the hands of an evil dentist with a tooth extraction tool. And if you continue to be stubborn and think that you can live without our high nutritional products, you cannot imagine what huge disaster will come to you. All your bones will be damaged and fall, and you will find yourself moving like reptiles, and all those who radiate health and beauty will stand around you carrying in their hands cups of our magical product. Is this what you want to become? No, 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 and I don't want this to happen to me. So you must use as much as you can our natural product. They also make other superstitions to slander and ridicule vision and teachings that do not fit their purpose. Personally, I give my trust to nature because it does not look for benefits. It does not make music or offers to deceive the consumer. In nature, only newborns are fed on milk, and they only have mother's milk and not any other milk. I will also test everything myself. When I gradually removed animal products from my system and replaced them with plants, my dental problems disappeared without the dentist having any part in this. I was already suffering from problems with some of my teeth, and they fell out spontaneously and without feeling any pain, and their fall was natural. After that, I got new teeth, and this phenomenon happens to those who eat a variety of meals that contain all the necessary nutritional values. As for my hair, it is thick and strong as it was when I was young. The gray has not yet invaded it, even though I have long passed the age of gray hair, and my eyebrows are the same. In a period of my life, the signs of aging in my body appeared clearly. My teeth were worn, wrinkles were visible on my face, graying of my hair, and other signs of aging. But I discovered later that stopping the aging process is not only possible, but it is possible to return to what we were originally. It was only after various herbs became dominant in my diet and helped me to discover this. It has become clear that adherence to the laws of nature awakens the body's regenerative abilities. If not the whole body, at least most of the body regenerates and returns to its normal state. And I emphasize once again that it is not wise to go to extremes or overdo it, as the diet must be varied and contain a high nutritional value, and also not to be overly austere. Some people, as soon as they hear about the miracles of natural food, abstain from everything else and only eat apples. The transition to a natural feeding diet should be done gradually and naturally. The basic principle here is do not limit the input of foods and do not abstain from them, but replace them with other foods. And do not rush to dispense with cheese, milk, eggs, and olive oil when you feel that you are not ready for this. And always remember that the distinctive nutritional value is not only in vegetables and fruits, but it's also found in leafy plants, grains, and seaweed. And it contains vitamins and minerals and other nutritional values. And leafy plants are dozens of times superior to fruits, but you will not be able to eat a lot of herbs because their taste is unattractive and its preparation requires a lot of effort. But a cocktail and soup can be made from leafy plants. Question. I am 22 years old and I actively and effectively play sports. Play football, exercise in a bodybuilding gym, and follow a natural diet. But from where can I get the protein we cannot do without for muscle growth? My mom is a doctor and she says without animal proteins, muscles won't grow effectively. Of course, your mother is right, and you will not find in nature any mother who feeds meat to a young calf or a tiger who feeds her child with grass. The topic here, who are you? What did they feed you? And for what were you prepared? Why does a person lose weight when he abstains from eating cooked foods and animal products and switches to live and uncooked vegetarian foods, especially if the switch happens suddenly? Here we are faced with two processes. First, the living food does not block the detoxification mechanism, same as cooked dead food, but it gives freedom. Before the body was receiving food that was killed by fire, lost its nutritional value, and almost turned into poison food. Cooked food is, by nature, poison food, and that which is dead bears nothing but death. Judge for yourself what carries life and what carries death. Compare the living substance and dead substance. It is, for some reason, that we all understand very well the difference between a living being and a corpse, such as a dead corpse or a withered and dead plant. Death itself is an ugly sight, so how can it be appetizing? But for some reason, as soon as we sit down at the table, we forget all this because of the power of habit, which has at its roots in the same time of our birth, and it is ready-made stereotype we inherited and shaped, and we have been molded by the social incubator. Imagine a cooked human corpse. Never seen it before? Disgusting scene? But what is the difference between this and the scene of a cooked chicken? We will not talk much about the difference between what is alive and what is dead, but just think, what does the body find itself compelled to do with dead food? Nature could not expect to see the sight of one of its creatures killing his power with fire, but nevertheless, it had taken the necessary precautions and equipped him with a large reserve and capacity for resistance. We are perfect and more powerful than any other animal. If any animal did everything that man does in excess and in violation of the laws of nature, it would not have continued to survive. If, in such situation, the body finds itself compelled to digest dead food, as long as this attitude is simply imposed on it, it has no other choice. And it deals with this situation with a high or low degree of success because it has a reserve of ability to confront with excess and has enough readiness to deal with the cases of excess. But at the same time, it's not ready for the state of excess to continue indefinitely. Do you realize this fact? The body's not always in the required shape to get rid of dead food waste. Food is not just raw chemical substance or a mixture of necessary molecules or substances. And the body is not just a chemical laboratory which manufactures substances from the raw material. Life is also not a combination of chemical reactions. The issue here is more complex and immeasurable, and even science, although it has not yet been able to explain what is the essence of life, but it affirms this vision: the living must be subsisted on the living. This is the absolute law of nature. Plants are the only ones capable of taking nutrients from minerals directly of all the other living creatures. They only feed on living minerals and do not feed on dead minerals. Try to uproot a house flower from a pot full of soil, then try to roast this flower in the oven. Then take the roasted flower and plant it again in its first place. What will happen? It will die because the dead bears nothing but death. The flower does not have the reserves that man has in order to be able to digest the dead and turn it into living matter. We will summarize the rest of this chapter through the following points. Number 1, I say again that life is not chemistry in a test tube. With every meal of dead food, a person loses part of his life energy. And this energy, according to the level of progress that science has reached today, is the energy of living yeast. But that is not all, and the issue is much more complicated. Living yeast are not just chemical reactions, but they're also living substance and possess light and a luminous aura, and they remain alive for some time in the body after its soul leaves. The body finds itself compelled to get rid of waste products resulting from dead food randomly because the body's precautions do not allow it to get rid of all the waste products. And the blood, in this case, receives the living and the dead. That is the necessary and unnecessary. The body distributes that poison to all parts of the body, and this poison accumulates and continues to accumulate throughout the life of a person. A body indicates the accumulation of these toxins and not healthy and strong muscles. Number 2, when a person switches to natural feeding system, the body's purification mechanisms operates automatically and at full capacity. Thus, all the dirt is removed from the body gradually. Number 3, it is clear that losing weight is the process of cleansing the body of dirt and toxins. The process of cleansing the body may last for years as dirt accumulated during the years. Number 4, if you want to eat mortadella or fried potatoes, this means that the poison from this substance is still in your body. Number 5, while the cleansing process takes place, the second process begins, which is the replacement process. But what to replace and what to replace it with? Have you ever thought about the difference between humans and herbivores whose meat is consumed? The difference here is the meats particularly, and they stand on 2 different levels on nutrition scale and differ in everything. Also in the process of digesting food and in the flesh and bone structure, and also the level of consciousness is different. Now imagine that a person suddenly and without premeditation refrained from eating animal materials and started eating only uncooked plants. So what will happen here? At first, the body will suffer a strong shock and will not know what is required to do. Then it will wake up and return to normal and begin the process of restoring itself completely. And here, the transition is to move to another level on the nutrition scale. The shape may remain the same, but the material is completely different. And this is the way the process of cleansing and replacement is taking place in the body. And it is clear that body adaptation is no joke. Number 6, the producers and the merchants form the finished molds in matters of nutrition and generally speaking. Number 7, nature does not look for benefits of its own and therefore does not play music or make advertisements. Only newborns feed on milk in nature and they only have their mother's milk. Number 8, if someone eats live food, his hair remains beautiful and gray doesn't invade his hair and new teeth grow instead of the teeth that fall out. But this does not happen unless the meals are varied and contain full nutritional value. Number 9, if a man returns to following the laws of nature in his body will awaken the powers of renewal. Number 10, the transition should be gradual and natural. The basic principle here is that you don't deprive yourself of anything and do not refrain from eating certain foods, but you must replace some foods with other foods little by little. Number 11, do not rush to stop eating cheese, cream, eggs, and olive oil if you feel that you are not ready for this. Number 12, the nutritional value is not in vegetables and fruits, but in soft, leafy plants, grains, and seaweed. Number 13, food is not just a raw chemical substance or a mixture of certain molecules or essential substances. Number 14, the human body is not just a chemical laboratory to make new materials from raw materials. Number 15, life is not just chemical reactions. Number 16, man wastes part of his vital energy when eating every meal of dead food. Number 17, the human body finds itself compelled to randomly distribute the waste, processing dead food because its precautions do not allow to get rid of all this. Number 18, the living must subsist on what is alive. Number 19, when a person switches to live feeding system, the body's self-purification mechanisms are fully functional. Number 20, the cleansing process can take years because the dirt has been accumulated over the years. Number 21, the body begins a process of self-repair, comprehensive and fundamental. The media will convince you that natural nutrition is the stupidity of mentally and physically defective people, and they will show you one disabled, rickety man who has followed the natural diet, such are not few, and next to him they will show a character who radiates health and vitality and eats same as every normal person eats. But they forget that there is no comparison between a meat eater and vegetarian. Here we can note that there is a state of ignorance, outright lying and biased attitude. And on the other hand, there is narrow thinking, bigotry, and boring repetition. It is true that ignorance is an incredible force. Reminder that hacking the technogenic system and as reply for frequently asked questions. Now, this book is not about teaching you anything about transurfing because it assumes that you already know everything about Transurfing Reality. And this is books 1 through 5 and the Tufti, the priestess book. So in this case, this book is about using the transurfing principles in dealing with that technogenic system and restoring your attention in order to enable you to freely use the transurfing principles that you supposedly already know. Now, this book was written because many people were not able to effectively use transurfing because their attention was controlled by the system, the matrix, and this book came to fix the problem. The book gives many ideas and examples to help you to restore your attention and enable you to use transurfing principles in an effective way so that you can choose the ideas that might help you and add to them your own perspective, because the book doesn't ask you to follow any rules, but it asks you to have your own freedom and use your own rules. Some people got mad about the topics of living food and living water and said that it's not a practical thing to do. Well, this topic is an optional thing and everyone is free to use it or not, and it might be good for some people and not good for others. And that is why the book said use soul and mind coordination while deciding about this topic or other topics, and follow this coordination and not what is written in the book. Okay, my loves, that is my speech. I hope you enjoyed my reading of chapter 21, Life is Not Chemistry in a Test Tube. Next up, chapter 22, The Principle of the Social Incubator. Please help me grow my channel by giving this video a thumbs up and leaving a comment in the comments box below or privately. Please share this video with their communities, friends, family members, and on social media platforms you feel would benefit from this content. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, selecting the all settings so that the YouTube will let you know when I upload next. And if you find value, enjoy, or benefit from my content and videos, or at least entertained by them, won't you please consider supporting my work through a donation? My PayPal link and my coffee.com/Dakini Kiss link are below. I thank you so much for hanging out with me, with your participation and focused attention. I really do appreciate it. I cannot do this work without you, and I do this work for those of you, knowing you are so much more than what the matrix defines you to only be. So until next time, my dear hearts, always act from love, outside of the matrix, from your center screen, composing a new reality, quantum jumping all our lifelines. That's right. Let's all do it. Go higher and higher and higher so that we can all be the love that we are. We can share our love, create, make art, make music, make love, and you can all help me repopulate the true quantum field creation field universe. Here's to love, truth, and beauty, my waking gods and goddesses. Mwah!